Soul's just on too. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Cartridge to Cloud. We haven't done one of these in a while, so I figured we're going to go and kind of get kicked off and do everything. I'm your host, Tommy. I'm going to be joined by co-host with Corey and Connor today. Captain Tutu, which you formerly have known. He's been on the show with us plenty of times in the past. And Connor, it's Mr. Hot Dog, the newcomer, kind of joining us today to talk about all things Summer Games Fest. Basically, everything that went from the Summer Games Fest showcase to the Xbox, what was the Xbox Direct, I think is what it's called?
Showcase, Xbox
Showcase,
yeah, Xbox
Ubisoft
Showcase.
Forward, and also the PC Gamer Show. I had like a brain fart for a second there. It's just one of those days.
No problem.
But so I wanted to start. I always start the show off by, what have you guys been playing today? What is one of those things that the games that could kind of been captivating you lately? Corey, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Oh man, I've just had the craziest Diablo addiction ever. Season 4 has been phenomenal, and I just cannot put the game down whatsoever. It's wild. I even like to try to like whisk myself away from Diablo. I resub to like Final Fantasy, and I still just can't put it down. So that's been my main game as of late. Just day and night Diablo. Whenever I can find free time, just hop on Diablo, slay some demons, get some loot. Other than that, so yeah, oh my god, so good, so good. Other than that, still playing WWE 2K, rocking my CM Punk shirt today, so
there you go.
Having a lot of fun with that, and been meaning to check out the Steam Next Fest, so I'm gonna do that tonight before it goes away. But I have been playing one game featured there, which is Once Human, and I've been falling in love with Once Human. It's so fun. I'm usually not the type to really. I dig survival games. Sometimes I feel like they could be so much, but this one is really really good. And I feel like they do a great job of like balancing the survival aspects with just like kind of like fun and going around the world and looting stuff and running into dungeons and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So I'd say like those are kind of like my three most played games right now.
Alrighty, Connor, how about you?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Corey. I've been just absolutely obsessed with Elden Ring again. I am starting a new playthrough. I am so ready for the DLC. I have tunnel vision for the Elden Ring DLC, and that's really it.
That comes out in the next like week or two, right?
Yeah,
this weekend,
June 21st.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah. Next Friday.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
yeah. Just so much Elden Ring. I'm obsessed.
Me, I've been like kind of dabbling in everything, but the things I keep coming back to the most are definitely Helldivers, just because the new update kind of rebalancing things back to being a little bit more fun in terms of the weapons and whatnot has been a blast. Railguns are relevant again, which was like one of my hardest things to let go when after the game first launched. Like Railgun was like one of your staples, and then the Quasar Cannon came out, and they nerfed the Quasar Cannon so much that it was not fun anymore. Even now, I think they haven't really unnerfed the Quasar Cannon, because like the what is it called? The reload basically, or the cooldown or whatever, is so long on it now. It's like 15 seconds. It's so damn long. And in Helldivers time, that's like an eternity.
Right.
And then the other ones I've been kind of going dabbling in V Rising, and then also Diablo. Like Diablo is another one. Like I've taken my character. I've got my first level 80 character. I've never gotten past level 80. It's one of my shameful things. I've never gotten to 100 yet. So I'm like this determined now. I'm like, this season I'm gonna get my first level 100, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm doing it with the Necro because I was like, I kind of like the lazy like run through and just let the demons do everything, and then just keep popping the ultimate every few seconds. You know,
you can go AFK legit with Necros. Crazy.
Oh, it's nuts. And you go through everything and kind of do the whole thing. But yeah, it's crazy. But in terms of everything else, I mean, like there's so many other games. Like I really need to get into the Fallout DLC. I still need to finish Cyberpunk because they did their last update, and I was so excited about that. But there's just so much out there and not enough time. Like even if I took like a month off of work and took a straight up sabbatical from work, I would never finish all the games I want to finish right now.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, getting into it, we'll start with Summer Games Fest. Now, just off the high end, we've got that's the wrong link. I was looking at the other one. Summer Games Fest. Let's start with this one. First off, what was your guys' thoughts on Summer Games Fest? Like, was there anything that stood out in particular to you? Anything that seemed like pretty lackluster in terms of it? Connor, I'll go ahead and let you start on this one.
Surprisingly, Killer Bean looked like so much fun. It looked so stupid, but it looks like so much fun. It looks like just one of those games where you could just shut your brain off and just run around. And it looked like what was the combat was compared to as what was it, Max Payne? You just kind of dive around and you're just shooting and it just looked so much fun. So I'm definitely probably gonna pick that one up when it comes out.
It totally. I could see that one almost being like your theme too for the whole hot dog thing.
Right.
Like, here you go. Just put a skin on him that makes him a hot dog, and it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun actually.
Corey, what about you?
I feel like this year's showcase it's like a step in the right direction, but still a bit disappointing. I know like Jeff told us to like set our expectations, but still I was like a little bit let down. But there were some highlights right off the bat to me. A game that I wasn't expecting and kind of like came out of nowhere was Cuff Bust from the Choo Choo Charlie dev. That one looks like he did like a total 180. It looks like so much fun, very goofy. I love kind of like the quirky characters on there. And the fact that it's like PvE where you can like team up with people, betray them. It just seems like so much fun. So that one like really surprised me.
Yeah, a lot of things were in there. Like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I was really excited about because I loved the first game. That was such a brutally fun game. I mean, it was punishing us first because you go in and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna go around and do the thing, and you get in your first fight and you're like, why was that like every standard dude was like a boss fight. But which makes me kind of excited for it because it was a cool story and everything for it too. Dune Awakening, my god, I just saw that pop up on the article. That's
on my list. Yeah,
look cool.
Some of the updates we got, like Valorant coming to consoles, which is a big deal. Kind of going through some of the other stuff. Alan Wake 2 Springs DLC. I mean, that's already out now. Like that was another like surprise drop. Hey, here's Alan Wake 2's DLC, and it's
12 hours or something. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah,
and I'm like, that's another one too. I have not even finished Alan Wake. I'm like 60% through that game. I still have not finished it yet.
No,
and
I even started.
It's a wonderful game too. Like it's still like sound quality, visuals, everything phenomenal, top tier. Like it is so much fun. We'll kind of start from the top of our IGN article here, which is kind of going through some of the other ones. Lego Horizons Adventure is coming to PlayStation 5, which is cool. I mean, I'm not a huge Lego game guy, but I know there's a huge audience out there for it. So I'm like,
right.
Hey, by all means. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. That seems really cool. It also seems like something I wish they had just put into the Harry Potter game if you were into those things.
Yeah. I agree.
There was kind of little bits of it, but you never actually got to play it. It was like a story bit. You got to go and kind of be a part of a Quidditch team, but it wasn't like you couldn't play it. It was just like, here's a story bit. You do your bit and you keep going.
I feel like I'm kind of surprised it's taken so long for just like a solo Quidditch game to come out. Like Harry Potter's been around for so long, and I feel like people have wanted like just a Quidditch game to play for so long. I don't know.
Yeah, same.
Looks good though.
No More Room in Hell 2 actually looked really good. I love
stuff.
I'm
really looking forward to that one. 8-player co-op with that sounds crazy.
I know.
So fascinating.
That sounded really cool. I don't actually recall playing the first one. I probably have it most likely because it's anything horror. I'm like, yes, give it to me. Like just put it in my cart and just check out. You're fine. They had a little bit of a teaser for Star Wars Outlaws. We'll get a little bit more into that afterwards because that was part of the Ubisoft Direct thing. Civ 7 being announced was, I think, a pretty big thing for next year, which is crazy. Because wait, 7's new, right? I thought it was 6 is the most recent one.
Yes.
Yes, it's 7.
Yeah, 7's brand new. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, 7. I have 6. I think I played like 40 or 50 hours of it, but I'm like, after that, I'm like, it's gone. Like I played so many other strategy games at the time, but I'm excited that they're actually doing a console release coinciding with the PC launch, which is great because I think more accessibility is always good. Great. Anything that they could do to kind of go on that. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, why do they keep releasing Dragon Ball Z games that go back from the beginning?
Yeah.
Like we've all played these, we know the stories, right? But I wonder why they keep just making a new Dragon Ball game and like, here, let's just start from the game, the beginning and redo it. It's got a little bit more of the Budokai Tenkaichi kind of like feel to it a little bit more than the
it is Budokai Tenkaichi. It's pretty much the sequel because in Japan the games are called Sparking Zero, so they figure they will just call it Sparking Zero here. So it is pretty much Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, Tenkaichi was like my favorite series in PS2 era. Like you couldn't get me off of that.
Mine too, yeah.
Well, because it's the only one that made you feel like you're really playing the Dragon Ball Z characters, right? Like you could actually fly, you could go punch them and like, break down a whole city if you wanted to, level a whole, game field basically. And it was so unique and ahead of its time. And I don't feel like we've gotten the same kind of feeling and sense of it. Like Dragon Ball FighterZ, which I think is great for a fighting game, but at the same time, it did nothing to make you feel like you're in the Dragon Ball world other than playing the characters. So it's a different feeling. I want the open world thing to kind of feel like, hey, I'm gonna go fight somebody in this big open setting, and we're gonna beat each other around and toss each other in the air, teleport, do all kinds of stuff, right? Batman Arkham Shadow for VR. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
Heartbreak.
I never really got into the Arkham games. I mean, VR is cool. I can only play VR for a little bit and then I get a headache, so I'm not sure.
It's just absolutely heartbreaking to me. I love the Arkham series. I'm sure this will be cool, but it's like, come on, like
Yeah.
VR title instead of like a an Arkham 4 game. Like,
Which it's soul crushing to the fans, right? Because they've all wanted another Arkham game, and then Rocksteady's been working on Suicide Squad, which has been fine, and I say fine loosely, but it's not like groundbreaking or anything big like that's Rocksteady's known for or anything. Is Rocksteady even doing this one?
No, it's a
Camouflage.
different develop. Yeah.
Camouflage is doing it. So not only Rocksteady's not doing it, it's also a VR game. So it's kind of like a double letdown to some degree. Street Fighter 6 getting a Fatal Fury crossover. I think that's unique. I like how Street Fighter still continues to dominate in terms of the fighting market. Tekken also, aside of that, this is not related to this one, but like between Street Fighter 6 and Tekken and Mortal Kombat 1, like it's definitely a pretty big fighting genre out there now.
Right. Yeah.
This is one I actually kind of want to talk about a little bit is the Blumhouse games. What did you guys all think of these 6 games? We only got kind of like little small peeks of each one of them. I don't think we really got a full on trailer of any particular game. But what were your thoughts on Blumhouse getting into the video game market?
I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know. I think some of the little games that they showed off looked pretty cool. I'm a sucker for like some cheap little quick like horror games or anything of that genre, so I'm kind of all in. I think I'll probably pick up most of those games.
Yeah, I'm with Connor. I thought that blowout, that whole section was just really awesome to witness, to see. I feel like a lot, like pretty much all the games look really enticing and fascinating to me. The 90s kind of teen horror one was really cool. I think that one's supposed to be coming out later this year. And also like that, like horror Stardew Valley was really fascinating too. So I'm really excited for this rollout.
Yeah, they all look kind of different too. Like
definitely for sure.
Yeah, it looked cool.
I'm excited. Like Blumhouse has done a great job at the new era of like horror movies, because I feel like they're like one of the very few that are actually consistently releasing new horror movies in the last like few years. Like Megan was so mind twisting in some degree. Like, could you imagine like an AI just going like, oh, I'm gonna get super attached to you, and then I'm gonna try to protect you, quote unquote, by keeping you from everything. Oh, you turning on me? Well, yeah, you just not my human anymore. Crazy. Power Rangers Rita's Rewind looked kind of cool, especially for being, I think it was like the little 2D. Like
I'm hyped for this. I'm a 90s baby. I love Power Rangers, so I can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Especially that whole it very much felt like the old X-Men or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like that old side scroller kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
It had that vibe to me, and I'm like, yes, just give me all of that.
Yeah.
Mecha Break. I'm actually kind of excited for this one. I've been following it for a little bit. When they did a trailer for it last year sometime, and I kind of got peeked, a little peek at it. And it's also the guy who did Armored Core, Metal Gear, and Gundam, like a style from it. So
I thought this was a Gundam game at first. It looked so much like so much like Gundam, like the designs and everything.
Yeah, and I've been like, I hope it's kind of some kind of spiritual successor to Xenogears, because Xenogears, like PS1 era, I don't know if you guys ever played that, was like one of the coolest JRPGs for its time. Like it definitely coincides with how good Final Fantasy was, even to some degree, for Final Fantasy 7. I mean, like one day I really hope they really bring that genre back, or that whole series back. It would be phenomenal. But yeah, I'm excited. And then we got a beta for August. My God, let's do it.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
First Ascendant. I've been playing the betas for this as they've kind of come out of the tech tests, and this one actually I'm pretty excited to kind of dive into and see what it ends up being. It does remind me a little bit of like a mix between Warframe and some kind of survival, like even Once Human kind of reminds me of it a little bit, the way that the style is. And then same thing with like Exoborn, I guess the style of Exoborn a little bit to this degree too. Have you guys got to touch this one yet?
I have not. No, I thought the trailer looked pretty cool, but it didn't really show any gameplay. I don't even think I've seen any gameplay or anything of it, but the trailer looked cool.
I put about like 12 hours into the beta, and I really, really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It definitely gives me like Warframe vibes, a bit of Destiny, like those looter shooter vibes. I feel like if you're a looter shooter fan, this will definitely be one to look out for.
Oh, 100%, especially being free to play right off the bat. And it didn't feel like it was like too heavily going into the free to play, which was nice because it didn't feel like you were they're trying to like nickel and dime you for everything either. It's like,
Right.
if you want to unlock, your characters a little faster, yeah, you could go and buy them, or you could just play and just unlock the tokens or whatever to get them, which was fine too. And it didn't seem like, at least from the beta test, they could change it obviously by the time release comes, but it didn't feel like it was too slow either, which is always one of my challenges with free to play games. Like they go and make it so damn grindy that like it takes you 60 hours just to go and unlock one character. And I'm just like, nah, fam, I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was a beta. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just to say, I don't know if it was a beta thing, but I feel like they did a good job of like giving you kind of like the in-game currencies to unlock things like at an even faster rate too.
Yeah.
I hope they do that for the full game, but
yeah, give you a little taste of everything.
Who
so
knows?
You
We'll
can
see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Connor, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, you were talking about things like the grind taking too long to where like you don't even have the time to put in. They do that so you spend money to pay to progress faster, and
100%. I mean, I don't mind like if there's a little bit of the grind, like, and it's kind of expected in terms of like the free to play stuff, but I don't want it so long that like even if you don't want to invest in because you're not sure if you're gonna like the game long term or anything, like give you enough to at least unlock your first few a little quicker and let you choose which ones you want versus being like, okay, you only get character 1, 2, and 3, and that's what everybody gets and everybody's playing. Right. So you really don't get that diversity of anything. Like Warframe, I think, does a great job as being the free to play game because it lets you choose what you want to do, and plus you could go and make your own in-game your platinum, by doing whatever. So I hope to some degree that they do that, so at least you have that freedom to kind of choose like how you want to play, not just force you into like a tunnel, of what characters to unlock first and all that kind of stuff. From the beta, It doesn't seem like they're doing that, but I hope they don't change it, obviously, or tweak too heavily into the grind fest or trying to force you to, pay money for it or whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
Yep, the Alan Wake 2 DLC we talked about a little bit, which looks phenomenal. Like, my God, that game is just gorgeous. I can't wait. Skate finally getting a console playtest, getting a gameplay reveal and console playtest coming too, which I thought was great. Skate has been another one. It's kind of like they've been doing stuff from time to time with it. I feel like they'll try to go and randomly like promote it to go, hey, join our playtests or do this and that, but they haven't really said when is it coming out, when are we going to start seeing more things for it. And they finally kind of got a little bit more of those details out of the way. Have you guys gotten to play the Skate series in the past?
Oh, I played the first one, and I think a little bit of Skate 2, but I think the one everyone talks about is Skate 3. Wasn't Skate 3 the best? Or?
I think that was, that's the one. I think it's the most reviewed.
I don't think I played that one. Yeah, but they're great games. A lot of fun games.
Oh, absolutely.
I adore the Skate series. I feel like those are kind of like one of those few games that defined my childhood growing up, and really excited for this new iteration. I feel like it's been in development for so long, but I'll wait for it.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And then we just got the Valorant coming to consoles, Among Us animated series, which I think looks so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Anything like Among Us has been like super fun. Like I can't say enough about how fun that game is. And also I like the whole concept of the whole like, it's like Werewolf basically. It all spawned off the original like Werewolf like in-person game, and then it kind of just goes into its own style of everything, which I think is fantastic. Kind of keep going. Dune Awakening we talked about a little bit. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Slitterhead, this one kind of didn't appeal to me as much. It looks cool. Looks like it could be interesting, but I think this is one I'll kind of wait to see what it does. It's also a horror themed kind of game with a little bit of an action focus, but my challenge is when they go into this horror, into the season, and they're just shooting for a November 8th release date, which is great because it gives them more time to work on it. But at the same time, it also misses like your prime time of people wanting to play horror games for, stream.
It's like you were just there.
October.
It's like what, a week away? I know.
Like a week and a half after. It's like, come on, can you guys just bump that a little bit up?
Yeah. Get ready for Halloween.
Exactly, because stream like for just Twitch in general. Like, not obviously this isn't the whole like video game industry as a whole, but the biggest way to get your game out there is like releasing it during October, so you actually have people picking it up and being like, "Hey, I want to pick up this new horror game. Let's go and play it." Especially in the style of it, it's kind of like the more of the Japanese style of horror, which is always great. Silent Hill also, I think, was another one that came up in one of the showcases that we'll talk about when we get to it. But my God, I can't wait for that either.
This was, if I'm not mistaken, the Silent Hill creator worked on this game, which is really awesome. So
so that's what I mean. It leaves me cautiously optimistic. I'll use that theme a little bit because there's a few of them I'm really excited to see, but I'm cautious about it because there's times that like, hey, these people go and they spin off and do their own game, and then some of them haven't quite panned out. Like one of the other co-creators of Silent Hill did a game called Home Sweet Home a few years back, and they did 1 and 2, and those games were good. They gave you the horror feeling, but the story was just so weak that it made you actually upset that you played it at the end. And that's the kind of thing I really hope nobody gets to experience in any way, shape, or form for some of those, like especially if they're huge fans of those series. Like Silent Hill is such a hard series to beat. It's so good.
Yeah.
Delta Force Black Ops actually looked pretty good. We got a PC alpha test in July. A little bit more on like the super realistic simulation almost style of game. Look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that there's some stuff there. Killer Bean, like you were talking about. My God,
Killer Bean.
That looks hilarious.
It looks so much fun.
Wander Stop looks interesting, like another cozy game from Annapurna. And they've also had some, hit or misses too. I think with Annapurna, they've had a couple really good games that have come out, and then the last few, I think, releases, I can't remember. I had a note of it mentally for what it was. The last game we got to see from them, but they've kind of had come and go in terms of some of the other stuff. Looks interesting. New World getting a new DLC, which I think a lot of our fans here are huge New World fans, just because open world PvP, you get like the zones and all that kind of stuff. A little bit more into there. I really like the concept and idea of the game. For me, my challenge was getting into it for long term for PvP, because too much of the game forced you into certain playstyles you may or may not want for the the type of game it is, which was the only thing that kind of bummed me out. But it was, overall, played well. It was great. I hope Amazon continues to support it for a long time. Clearly they are doing well enough for it. They're releasing another DLC for it. Any thoughts on this one?
Nice. I have not gotten into New World, no, but it's cool. I like seeing games supported. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, New World for me is one of those where I feel like it has like, I don't know, it has like all the right sauce to it, but it just isn't hitting for me. I feel like it isn't hitting for a lot of people. But I hope this DLC and the fact that it's coming to consoles can kind of breathe more new life into it. I feel like with the last DLC, the last big one that was released, it was like really exciting at first, but like it kind of let a lot of people down. So New World, it's a weird one. I feel like it's, I love MMOs games a lot, and there's so much uniqueness in New World that like sets it apart from a lot of other MMOs, but it just feels like very bland to me. Like a lot of the inner workings of the game feels really bland to me.
Parts of it I agree with you on that, because some parts are kind of like cookie cutter from your standard survival stuff, but then they try to throw the MMO aspects in it, and it doesn't really like. It's like oil and water. It doesn't quite. It's there together, but it doesn't quite mix.
Yeah. So I hope this DLC, this expansion, kind of fleshes out the game a bit more.
Absolutely. Pal World's getting a new island and more pals, which I think is great. Pal World saw its huge, release time and did a lot of really cool stuff. And I feel like it was like the hot game for like a month, and all of a sudden it just went poof. Like everybody did their content, did their thing, which was great because it's like a Pokemon game and everybody got to play together and stuff. But it wasn't without its bugs. Like I played a ton of it in the beginning too, and it was great, and I liked the automation of doing the whole survival aspect that was kind of tied into it. And even the Pokemon part of it was really cool. Like I think they did that really well to kind of plagiarize Pokemon to some degree.
Yeah.
But I like the whole like how you got your other Pokemon, or your pals in this case, was like breeding them and all this other stuff, or mixed breeding them, which I thought was really cool, like very unique to do for that type of game. And I hope this gets a resurgence after this. Like we got a new new deal still coming out. It's like June 27th, so we'll have a little bit more there. Yeah, just real close. I like a lot of the stuff so far, like out of SGF that came, like a majority of it was pretty close, like within the next few months, and then only a few things out in 2025, which was great because it's like as we were kind of talking about pre-show a little bit, like companies are finally getting that hint, like we don't want to announce stuff like super far out anymore because you're not getting the same level of interest. Like you get people really hyped and then everybody's like, yeah, I want to go do it, and then they have to wait 5 years to get an update.
Bethesda looking at you.
Yeah.
What was it? How long has it been? 6 years?
Yep.
6 years since the Elder Scrolls 6?
Yeah. Well, their announcement was what, 2 years ago, I think, 2 or 3 years ago when they finally released like the title trailer of it or whatever, but no name or anything associated. It's just Elder Scrolls 6.
That was more than
crazy.
2 years ago.
I feel like that was more than 2 years ago too.
Yeah, that was a good bit ago. I think that was like five or so years ago.
I think it was definitely during COVID. It might be 2020 or 2021, maybe. It's something.
2018, E3 2018.
Oh my God.
Told you.
That is crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, so it is only been 6 years. Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so bad. I mean, I get it because they said it's like they don't have a full team working on it yet. They're still supporting, Fallout 76 and Starfield. So I think once they're done with Starfield, I think they have 3 DLCs they're doing with that, and I think they'll have everybody move off.
3, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think they're supposed to be up to 3. Yeah. The first one's now going to be coming out. What is it? July or August is when Shadow. Yeah, it's coming out this year.
Okay. I thought it was like fall, but that's cool.
Yeah. Moving on, Monster Hunter Wilds looks super exciting, and with the announcement of crossplay, my God, finally!
Thank God, yes! I'm so excited for this one.
Well, it's like the only thing that's been missing. Like the one thing that's been missing from every Monster Hunter is they want to play crossplay, and not a single one of them have been crossplay, which is so bad.
Yeah. Now this looks so good. Like even the fact that there's like a seamless transition now between like the village and the open world segments is like, I can't wait for this game.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Super excited about that one. Kitsune Gami, Path of the Goddess. This one looked pretty fun. Kind of a little bit of a action soul style game. Also coming to Game Pass on day 1, which is great, July 19th. So we got some more stuff to look forward to. Phantom Blade Zero. Now this one looked pretty cool.
Phantom Blade looks really cool.
Looked like a Sekiro style game, I guess, to some degree, right? A lot of really cool stuff that was in there. It was kind of like the one thing that kind of came at the end. Any thoughts on this one before we wrap this for SGF up?
Looks really cool. Looks really fast paced. Looks really good. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm on board for just about anything that's Souls like or anything like that. So I'm all in. I'm ready for that. That looks cool.
Nice.
Just real quick, I want to give a shout out to Outer Sloth, which is the publishing label for Inner Sloth, which are the devs behind Among Us.
Oh, nice.
And they're doing, what I hope like Microsoft would do, which is highlight a bunch of indie devs and give them a spotlight. So shout out to them for doing that and, taking the reins on that.
Yeah.
Shame on Microsoft for everything they've been doing.
I know, right? Overall, so just wrapping up Summer Games Fest, what would you guys, if you guys gave a score out of 1 out of 10, with the 0.5s in there, like a 20-point scale, what would you guys rate the Summer Games Fest?
Or I'll let you go first.
I'll go first. I think it was probably like a 6 or 6.5 at the most.
Yeah,
I was right there. Yeah, 6 out of 10. I feel like this showcase wasn't like a step in the right direction. I think Jeff just needs to kind of refine it more, and it could be the true E3 replacement that he wants it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'd probably put it somewhere around there too. I mean, there was some really cool stuff. I thought the Black Myth Wukong looks cool. The Killer Bean, the Blumhouse, Phantom Blade. There were actually some things in there that I'm like pretty excited for. So yeah, like on 6.5, maybe 7.
Yeah, great. I think it was overall great content. I think Jeff's biggest challenge going into future showcases, especially Video Game Awards, we've got it because he's kind of got that unlocked because it's like the big award show for the whole thing, or one of the big award shows. But I think now with him replacing E3, kind of replacing the E3 time or festival, I guess, for the summer. I think his biggest challenge coming up is going to entice those big developers and publishers to do something at his show. I think now he's going to have, like, everybody's so successful on their own, like in terms of, like, we'll talk about the Xbox showcase next because that was the next one on our list, but like you got Microsoft doing their own show, Ubisoft doing their own show, and then you've got a few of these other ones like the PC Gamer Show, which has always been there, kind of been like an indie showcase to some degree. But I think that his biggest hands down challenge in the future is just getting people to buy into why they should showcase there versus doing their own thing if they're big enough. Like Microsoft is so big now that like why they could do a thing there every year with how many developers and everything they've got in house now. Like
right.
Every year show something off that they've got in just their portfolio. I don't think they need that. So I guess coming up with that need for why they should do stuff with Summer Games Fest versus anything else, I think that's going to be their hands down biggest uphill battle. All right.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Moving on, the Xbox Games Showcase. To me, I think this was like the pinnacle of this entire week. Like the amount of stuff that was shown, the stuff that we got to see, the stuff we didn't think we were going to see that we got to see. My God, I'll start this one out. Like, I mean, we got the Black Ops 6 thing being on Game Pass. My only downside, 305 gigs download for everything.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. There was an article came out recently that said that it wouldn't be that big. Still going to be big, but yeah, 300 gigs is just ridiculous.
I think it's because it adds like Warzone and all the previous ones to it. So I think it tallies up if you install everything at once. But if you're doing just Black Ops 6 and multiplayer, I think it's like 70 gigs or something like that. But I just laughed with everything else. Like, I mean, if you do just Warzone by itself, it's built into the Call of Duty launcher on the Battle.net stuff, and it's like 100 gigs by itself for just Warzone. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
But going into the news. So we got the Black Ops 6 maps with 16 new multiplayer maps and 2 new zombie modes, or 2 new zombie maps in addition to some of the other stuff. I think that was definitely great news. Call of Duty fans are definitely going to rejoice the whole thing. I think going on Game Pass is going to be a huge shift in the field for that, because that being PlayStation's one big shooter that they have every year, and now that being on Game Pass and not being on on the PlayStation service, I think it's going to be a very big thing. I mean, people are going to buy it either way, right? But then you got the Xbox ecosystem now doesn't have to buy it. They're just like, hey, cool, I'm just going to get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and just play it without having to buy the extra stuff, unless they want the extra goodies. But even then, they've got such a good upgrade plan. Like, you're like, hey, I want to go buy the base or play the base game on Game Pass, but I want the extra goodies, and you just upgrade the extra goodies for a discounted price. So it's like, it's kind of win-win. Right. What are you guys' thoughts on all that?
Yeah, no, I'm into it. I've been kind of out of the Call of Duty game for a few years now, but with this one being on Game Pass, and it's, the return of Black Ops, it's got the zombies. I'm kind of all in. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna try it. Kind of excited.
Yeah, I'm with Connor there. I've like kind of shut Call of Duty out of my mind for like the past couple of years, and this game, I love Black Ops. I love zombies. So, and I love the fact that it's like continuing the story off of Black Ops 2, which is really cool. So, I'm all for this. I love the fact that they also announced that, for the past like few years, Call of Duty has been locked behind like PlayStation, and PlayStation's been getting like all the content first, getting the betas first. But now, for the like first time in forever, everyone's getting the betas at the same time. Everyone's getting content at the same time, which is really good. So I'm really excited for that.
That's kind of like my most exciting thing out of the whole bunch. Just like everybody getting everything day one, and there's no more console specific exclusives, which is like the bane of everything in terms of Call of Duty. Like, my God, it's so bad. 12 core 6v6 maps and four strike maps that can be played 2v2 or 6v6. That is great.
Yeah.
Zombies, of course, is always fun. Like, that's just a mindless game. You just kind of jump in with your buddies and just get into the chaos and have fun. And my God, it's been so refined and so great over the years that I'm actually kind of excited to play Call of Duty for the first time, because I was like tired of buying like $70 games, and then a month and a half later it'd be discounted at 40% off, and then you're like, okay, well, why do I even want to buy it? Like, now if you're going to go and get it on Game Pass, especially Game Pass Ultimate on PC, I'm just going to play that. Like, I don't need to buy all the extra stuff that comes with it,
Yeah, it being on Game Pass is just huge in my opinion. Like that's
Very
massive.
big, yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. And then it comes out October 25th, 2024. A nice, end of October, early November. Like it's been kind of staying in that trend of places there. Doom: The Dark Ages. What was your guys' thoughts on this one?
Badass. Looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks sick. Yeah. I only just recently played Doom Eternal for the first time, and I just fell in love with it. I'm all for it. I'm all on board for it. I'm ready for it. Looks really good.
I'm overall really excited because they're like, yeah, Doom: The Dark Ages and all that kind of stuff. My only weird, like, this is just a me thing, I think, but it's kind of going medieval, but at the same time, it's still super sci-fi, which is like, it's
very weird. Like, yeah,
smash up. And all. At first, I was like, hell yeah, he's gonna go into medieval. He's gonna go in sword and shield and do the whole thing. No. It's still Doom. Don't get me wrong, it's still Doom to its core, but you're getting all the extra bonuses of everything with it, which I think look great. The shield stuff, like the saw blade on the shield and all that, looked phenomenal. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that was it's 2025 for this one. So this is one we have to a little bit further on, but Game Pass on day one, which another reason.
Insane.
Game Pass day one for this stuff. Like that's the only thing that still gets me. Like it's still like Game Pass, and we've said this for years now, I think at this point, and it's only gotten better over time, but Game Pass still is hands down the best deal in gaming for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so continuing on, State of Decay 3 has finally reappeared after 4 years after it was last announced, which I thought was pretty cool. Actually got something that's kind of going there. State of Decay 3, I really love 2, but I hope they do something new with it a little bit. 2 kind of felt like so just a continuation of 1, and it kind of felt more of the same, essentially just in a different setting. Now Starfield, having the new Shattered Space expansion. I know this was one that we all kind of talked about, got really excited about right before we went live, but my God, dude, like Starfield for me cool. Still, like it's still a Bethesda game, and it still has some of the weird, like little Bethesda jank, just like anything else does. But at the same time, the jank is like fun jank. It's not like so broken that you can't play it or anything like that. And I love it. And especially it being a space game, like if they just fix the inventory stuff, and then some of the map stuff is already kind of fixed to some degree, but Shattered Space is going to have like that final piece where you're going to get the full like landscape maps and everything else too, which I'm really excited about. And you're finally going to hear and see more about House of Ruin. You see so much little tidbits of pieces throughout the main story, and even out throughout the side stories of all of it. And especially if you go and romance what's her name from it, the gal from House of Ruin that's like one of your companions. You get a lot. I'm drawing a blank on her name.
I forget. Yeah, me too. But I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of the gals that's in there, and you know she's a romanceable character, and you could get married to her and all that fun stuff. But she talks about a lot about House of Ruin and where she came from, and her whole like espionage story and behind that. Like, then you're like,
is it Andrasia or something?
Yeah, like that? and Andrasia. Yeah. But then she has this whole thing of like she was like a splinter agent, like went out and just infiltrated and got into stuff, and then I was reporting it back, and then she's like, I quit that life. But it's like, if you're here, how many more are you? You know, and it kind of makes you think like, what else can you do there? And they're kind of digging into that, which I'm super excited about. I mean, what before we move on to the rest of that story, what do you guys think about it so far?
Corey?
I barely touched Starfield, so I got to go back and play it. But you know, I always love more content, so I'm looking forward to this. I got to get through the base game first, but I am looking forward to this.
Yeah.
No, I'm into it. I'm all for it. I was a Starfield believer. I know it had its issues. I know it wasn't the best, and it had its issues, but I'm excited for it. It's cool to see that they're following through and like sticking with it and updating it and making it better. There was a whole like announcement of like all the extra stuff they're adding besides the DLC, but like all just the updates they're doing to the map, to all that. It looks good. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna definitely be jumping back into that whenever it comes out.
Plus now you get like the same day and date for the creators community thing, or the creators add-on, which you can now like the official mod support, which is great. The new Trackers Alliance quests right off the bat doing like a little bit more of the bounty hunting stuff was really good. My God, like all the all the pirate stuff that you can do. Like I can't wait till I do my New Game Plus run, and do like kind of switch it up and do some of the really big like fun side quests that are monumental and kind of change that up a little bit. But I'm excited to do that after this expansion comes out.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
But yeah, super fun. Moving on, Dragon Age: The Veil Guard. Now, Connor, let's start with you on this one. What do you think?
I have not played any Dragon Age games.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my God.
Never played it.
So wait, did you play Baldur's Gate? Did you have fun with that?
I didn't play Baldur's Gate.
Oh, okay. No,
I said because it won Game of the Year, I was going to play it, and I've got a backlog of games I'm trying to get through, but I do want to check out Baldur's Gate 3. I heard it won Game of the Year, but I've heard from everyone that's ever played it that it's incredible.
So the reason I say that is if you go back and play Dragon Age Origins, which is still like hands down one of the best Dragon Age games you could play, it has kind of that format of like the turn-based action and all that kind of stuff where you could do both. You could do the turn-based action or you could kind of do the live action too. And it kind of continues on a little bit of that until it gets to Inquisition, and then it does a little bit more of the action RPG style of things, which is great too. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff on this one. Corey, what do you think?
Really excited for it. I know some people are kind of let down that this one kind of goes into like full on action RPG. And I think, Bethesda, not Bethesda, sorry. What's the developer on this? BioWare. BioWare is really strong at both kind of like developing action games and also like those kind of turn-based RPGs as well. So I have faith in this one. I didn't get to watch all the gameplay reveal. I probably watched like 5 minutes of it, so I got to go back and check it out. But like, I love the trailer. I'm really excited for this, so I can't wait. In fact, we're getting it this year too. Is like, oh my God, I was sure this was like a 2025. Yeah, I know. I was sure this was a 2025 game, but excited that we're getting it this year.
The exciting part for me is, for one, they've changed the style up a little bit to be a little less serious, which is definitely a tone shift. I think that it's become a little bit controversial between the fans since this announcement. But the fact that you're still getting like all the unique side characters that are also going to be with you too, I think is really cool. Like how they kind of did the whole, like we have it here on screen, is the players you fight alongside with is Harding the Scout, you get a detective, necromancer, dragon hunter, you still get a Grey Warden, which has kind of been the staple of Dragon Age, like the things that you normally fight with that whole thing, the Veil Jumper, which I think is new to this whole thing, and then also a Mage Killer, which there's always been a style of mage, which I thought was interesting. So I'm really curious to see what they do when they dig into this again here eventually in the future, because I think they're going to be doing another bigger announcement for this. It's pretty cool. I'm excited. South of Midnight, what do you guys think? Any thoughts on this one?
It looks really cool, but the Into the Spider-Verse like 5 FPS kind of style of the way the character moved was kind of weird, and I don't think I liked it, but the game looked kind of cool. I mean, the art.
This was. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say this was, to me, probably like my number one game of the show. I love the art style. I still feel like it looks weird on cutscenes, but during actual gameplay, it looked like it flowed really smooth, which is like the most important part. And I just really love that they're kind of mixing like this like Southern folklore with like Black culture, and I love that for this game. It looks so awesome, so unique and fun. I can't wait for this.
Nice. I think it looked really cool. It's very different. It does have that Spider-Verse kind of style of art, which I think is very unique. And I think because of the popularity of how Into the Spider-Verse and the Miles Morales movies went, I think this is a great kind of addition to kind of expand on that a little bit more, and something unique, and bring like a different style to the whole thing. I think it's overall like one of the more positive ones. You're very unique, something I didn't obviously expect. So brand new IP.
Definitely.
Yeah. Is that a Game Pass day one, or?
I believe so.
Game Pass day one. Yeah.
I'll definitely check that one out. Yeah.
Yep. Game Pass day one.
Cool. Yeah. A lot of those
see
were
who the developers are off the top
one.
of my head off this one though. Oh, Compulsion Games. Yeah. So the We Happy Few
Compulsion.
studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
Happy Few, yeah.
So that was great. And We Happy Few is a mindfuck of a game too.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's exciting. I didn't realize Compulsion was behind this.
Yeah, so because they got bought by Xbox, so that's one of their in-house stuff. Fallout 76 Skyline Valley, that's already out now by the time we got to this. Super exciting. I love the fact that we get more stuff into Fallout 76. I'm glad they're still supporting it because it's turned out to be a phenomenal game at this point. It definitely was probably one of the rockiest starts for any Fallout game ever. Obviously, because they were trying to do the whole like no NPC thing, and they realized that's not really how our players want to play it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that kind of got into it a little bit. But we get a new Fallout 63. We get to uncover all the stuff with that, and also a new type of electric ghoul. What did you guys think?
Yeah, exciting. I mean, it looked cool. Yeah, I only just recently dabbled back into 76 after kind of swearing it off when it first came out. It was fun. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, we were talking about it too, like before the show, like the show start is just trying to find the time to play all these games, and this is one of those too, where it's like you want to play it, but there's just so much else out right now. It looks really fun, really cool. I love kind of like the theme of this expansion, and like exploring this new area, Skyline Valley. But yeah, just trying to find that time is just going to be really difficult. But I would love to get my hands on this sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of my ones I'm going to follow up on at some point when I have like a Friday or something. I can just sit down and kind of dig into it and get into that quest line and stuff. I think it's definitely really cool. Another one that was kind of a shock. World of Warcraft: The War Within launches in August, the earliest time of the year that they've ever released an expansion for World of Warcraft. And it also launches this new era of new saga, I should say, of the new World of Warcraft stuff. They finally wrapped up the whole like Sylvanas storyline or whatever, that whole thing. So they're kind of breaking into this whole new era of WoW, which I'm really excited about. This is going to be another one. Like, I really want to play it, but it coming out in August, I'm like, I'm never going to have time for this right now. Like, I'm going to have to take a couple days off just to play this.
Same with me, yeah.
My God. Looks great, though. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater gets its first story trailer. I'm super excited about that one. Metal Gear Solid, obviously, I hope they do good with it. Since this is the first time we've seen another Metal Gear Solid come back a little bit without Kojima being behind it. Perfect Dark. The surprise, I think, in my opinion, of the showcase. I know everybody's been kind of clamoring over. They announced this one quite a few years back too. We haven't seen anything other than like a little CGI trailer here and there. This was also a CGI trailer, but we got to see a little bit more that the game is kind of on the more serious side. It's not. It's still a first-person game, but I think it's going to be a single-player story from the sounds of it. Any thoughts on Perfect Dark?
Looks cool. I don't know too much about Perfect Dark. It's an older game, right?
Oh yeah, N64 era.
Yeah, N64. Yeah, no, I don't know much of it. I just know the name. But yeah, I thought the trailer looked pretty cool. A little bit of gameplay looked kind of cool. Is that Game Pass day one?
Yep. Game Pass
probably.
day one, and then it's also done by Initiative and Crystal Dynamics, co-developing it.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I thought it looked pretty cool.
Especially Crystal Dynamics coming off of Avengers.
Oh God, I forgot that was their last game. That's crazy. You just like unlocked a core memory for me. But I'm intrigued by it. I don't really have a history with the Perfect Dark series, but I'm intrigued. I definitely want to see more from this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait to see more. I'm kind of holding my thoughts on it, I think, a little bit just until we see more of it. What we saw of what this trailer was phenomenal. Like, I really love the whole what is it called, Splinter Cell series. So this kind of gives me Splinter Cell vibes to some degree, with just in the future. But I'm excited to see more when they actually get a little bit more detailed into this one. Fable gets a new trailer and a release window, which is nice. We finally get to see something in 2025 for this one. Very, very different from the last time we've gotten to see.
Yeah.
This just looks beautiful. I love the Fable series. It's been so long without a Fable game, so I'm ready for it. I can't wait.
Absolutely. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, I've never even played a Fable game, but this
Really?
makes me want to go back.
Oh
This
my
makes
God.
me want to go back and play them. It looks really cool.
So Fable 2, hands down the best Fable.
Oh,
It is
God.
the one.
And
Really?
what sucks is you can't really play it today. Like I want to play it so bad. And that's the
Oh.
best one, but you can't
I
really
think-
play it.
You
How
can
many?
play
How
it on
many were there?
Xbox.
3.
Yeah, 3 of them.
3
Three,
games.
yeah.
So yeah.
3 was dog shit, in my opinion. It was not good. It was not good in the story. It kind of forced you into certain play styles, which is kind of against what Fable actually was to some degree. But 1 and 2, it's like you make your choice, your character does, you do what your character would do. And then the way it did it, your character kind of evolved into the good or the bad, based on your choices or whatever. The more good things you did, the more angelic and nice and, pretty your character became. And the more evil things you did, the more like your skin started cracking with like red stuff. Your eyes started turning red. You started getting like horns and, you started just looking dead inside kind of thing. It was great.
It reminds me of Infamous on the PlayStation. When you went bad, you could see like the electric veins. You kind of turned like more evil looking. It's cool.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm excited. I hope they really bring that back with Fable. I really hope that's a return to form for it. This is also the first time we're seeing Fable come out without Peter Molyneux behind it, which I think is going to be really interesting to see how they've handled it since Peter Molyneux is not a part of that studio anymore. So that'll be
they're kind of falling in line. It seems very ambitious. So Peter Molyneux was always super ambitious.
Oh my God. I mean, his ideas were definitely bigger than whatever the game could have been. That's for sure.
Yeah.
two, I think, was like closest they got to it. And it was still so good. Like all the DLCs, like all the story bits of Fable 2. I played that game through and through. Like I did every quest. I did every main storyline. I did every DLC.
That game so much. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. So good. So very high hopes for it.
Are they all? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are they all connected? Are they all going to? Is this going to be a continuation off of those original games, or?
That's the only thing we didn't get enough detail about. I don't think. It seems like its own standalone story a little bit in the future compared to where the original one started. But 1, 2, and 3 were connected. Okay. You knew of the previous antagonist of the previous one in some story bits and stuff throughout the other series. It's just 3 was just so bad.
Yeah, so far it seems like a soft reboot to me. I don't know if it has any connection with the previous series. I hope it does a little bit, but yeah, it seems like it's just like a brand new slate so far.
Absolutely. I mean, I hope they do good with it.
Definitely.
I have high hopes, but it's another one. I'm going to use that term again. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 gets a release date. That is great. Indiana Jones, The Great Circle. Obviously, we know that one's still coming for this year. It's still got the window, but no date on it yet. This is one to me.
I think there was a date. I think they announced it like after the show, which is really weird, really dumb. But I'm gonna try and look for it real quick.
Yeah, see if you can find anything on that one. That was just one that was weird because it's like, yeah, we know it's coming. We only got 6 months left of the year to do it. So what is it? But at the same time, like, I really like Indiana Jones as a franchise, but the games have always been a weird letdown to me.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do with it, to be honest.
It looked like it looked like some lighthearted kind of fun. It definitely looked like it had the same tone as the Indiana Jones movies. Like it could be a pretty decent casual game to play through.
Yeah, and I think it's very, very heavily trying to be like Uncharted to some degree. Like it's trying to keep that fun vibe to it, but it's also Indiana Jones, which is to me, I think Uncharted was substantially better than anything that we've gotten in terms of Indiana Jones. But we'll see. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no date here for this one,
date.
which is really weird. No date,
Here's one we all talked about as being one of the games we're playing a lot lately. Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred expansions comes out in October. Super excited about this one. The trailer looked phenomenal. It also continues on with the main story from the gal that stole the crystal at the end of the main storyline. And my God, Nyrel. I'm super excited to see what happens with this, with her and the World Stone and how it's kind of torturing her and this whole thing. Definitely talk about a level of brutality I didn't expect. Yeah, obviously it's Diablo, but man, they went above and beyond.
That was very brutal. Yeah. And they gave the warning at the beginning of the trailer, and still, I was not ready.
Oh no.
It made me want to play Diablo. I've never played Diablo.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun.
That's so good.
It's a lot of fun. Definitely play through the storyline and stuff. Like the story on it is so much fun.
Right.
Super fun time.
Yeah, I barely do pre-orders this game, but immediately after I saw like kind of the blowout that they did for the expansion, I immediately went and pre-ordered it. It just looks so much fun. I'm excited to explore the new zone. I'm excited for the continuation of the story. Excited for the Spiritborn class, which looks like a mix between like Witch Doctor and Monk. And just like a new kind of like co-op PvE like dungeon sounds so exciting. The mercenaries, like I'm ready for this. I can't wait.
Oh, absolutely. Same. I pre-ordered it. I got this on my pre-order list to do. The content and stuff looks really good. My only downside, and it's kind of a weird, I think it's just a me thing because I'm like, I love the Diablo universe. But so you have Diablo Immortal that's out there, and they've done a lot of really intriguing classes and stuff like that from that stuff, and they haven't brought any of that to Diablo 4 yet for whatever reason. And even then, like the new class that they're bringing, obviously, is this new class that we were just talking about, and it has nothing to do with any of those classes at all. Like they're just introducing another lore bit that has another class, but it's not any of the stuff that we expect. Like, you know, we had the season where we had like the kind of the vampire bit to it, like that could have been a good like intro to a new class.
Yeah, and then Immortal had like a vampire class too, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. So like they had this vampire class, and they did they had an inn, like they had the class done, and they could have just put that in Diablo 4, and people would have been excited about it. But that's the only thing that I think my only like kind of minor gripe with Diablo. Like I love the game; it's a solid game, and they finally gotten their stuff together with this Loot Reborn because it's so much more fun to play than it was previously. But the lack of additional classes since launch has been kind of interesting because I thought by now they would have at least done like an open one where you just can buy the class, kind of like Diablo 3 did to some degree, but they haven't done any of that. They're kind of doing it with the big DLCs instead of, you know, the one-off drops with a story bit or a season or something like that, and kind of releasing a new class. But I thought was really interesting how they're kind of slowing that pace down, or forcing us to slow that pace down a little bit, which is different.
Yeah, a friend of mine has like a very similar complaint in that he feels like there's not enough classes. And I agree to that. I do hope they kind of up their cadence of like releasing classes at a faster rate. I feel like this first year was really about like fixing the core game, which they've finally done with season 4. So hopefully we could just continue to add content, continue to add classes, you know, going forward from here.
Absolutely. High hopes for it though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33 looks like it's a new turn-based RPG, which looks great. I thought that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna kind of whiz through a few of these. A new Assassin's Creed Shadows, which we're gonna talk a little bit more because it came out in the Ubisoft Forward right afterwards. This one I'm gonna dabble on a little bit with the digital only Xbox Series X, which I thought was really cool. I got really excited when they started going through and showing off the Galaxy Color with the 2 terabyte, and then they did the whole all digital all Series X. My only complaint right off the cuff is they do a Series X with a disk drive that's this whole Galaxy theme, which just looks like a speckled paint of the exact same thing, which is cool, and a custom controller that goes with it. And they did 2 terabytes there, but why the hell did they not do 2 terabytes in the all digital one?
Yeah, that's so weird.
Like, what if are you going to drop the price $100 just to get the Series X all digital sold? Because then people are still going to have to buy the additional hard drive space, like right off the bat with an all digital. And because without the disc, you're now having to add on that, 20 to 40 gigs every game because you're not using the disc, space basically. Right. And I was just like, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, wait, that's not cool. Actually. Unless it's like substantially cheaper, they're probably only going to drop it $50, knowing them. Yeah. But like the special edition Galaxy Black should have been like the brand new standard for the thing, and then they're just making it like a special edition. It's like, okay, cool, but I like the 2 terabyte space, which is kind of what we've all wanted. But why not on the digital one?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Very weird choice.
Weird choice. That's it's probably one of my biggest complaints about the whole thing. I was just like, what the fuck, guys? New Avowed story trailer, which looks fantastic. This is another one I want to see what it does, but I'm cautiously optimistic. It's one that's not like, in terms of like appeal, the original style that I saw for Avowed looked really cool, but ever since they've changed the style up a little bit to be a little less serious, it's kind of lost a little bit of appeal to me personally.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of went like a more kid cartoon style, I guess, and it was a little bit more like Elder Scrolls like originally. I think that maybe that's why they kind of shifted away from it. Maybe that's the only thing I could think of, but yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I want to see what it does, but I don't know if it's not a day one play for me right now currently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm cautiously optimistic about this one, mainly because of the studio behind it. But other than that, it hasn't like wowed me in any way.
Yeah, I mean, like Obsidian is a great developer. Like they're still doing what is the Outer Worlds, which is a phenomenal series. Like it's a nice. It's basically what Starfield I think would originally should have been to some degree if they had brought that new IP. If they had given Starfield to Obsidian, I'm sure that would have been a very very different game. Still would have been good, I'm sure, because Obsidian is still a solid developer. But at this time around, I'm like, I don't know. I think this is their shot at trying to do a Skyrim style game to some degree. It seems like Obsidian's trying to mirror Bethesda to some small degree,
which is really weird. Like now looking back at it, because like before they were in different houses, but now they're in the same house. So yeah,
it's like, all right, so you guys are just you're gonna clone each other. Oh, okay, cool, I guess. Yeah, sure. Let's go on with that. Gears of War E-Day, the prequel everybody has finally always wanted and finally gotten. You get to see a young Marcus Phoenix. Connor, go ahead and kick this one off.
Looks really cool. I wasn't exactly sure what this trailer was until he goes to fall and you see that arm grab him and you see Dom and you just know. You just knew. I think it looks really cool. Looks really good. I hadn't played the later Gears of Wars. I only played 1, 2, and 3. Kind of just lost interest and didn't want to get into the later ones, but I'll definitely be picking this one up. Looks really cool.
Gears of War is one of my favorite franchises of all time, so I'm really, really excited for this one. I enjoyed Gears 4 and 5, but I feel like I just couldn't connect to those characters like I did with the OG characters like Marcus, Dom, Baird, so Coltrane, and
yeah.
So I'm excited to like go back to those characters and to go back to this timeline and it being based on E-Days, so dope to me. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, another one we heard a lot about throughout the whole franchise. Like E-Day was such a big monumental turn for everything, and us never really getting to play much of that story. We got a little bit with, I think it was Judgment that kind of was shortly after V-Day, and now we're getting E-Day, sorry. And then we're getting E-Day now directly. At first when I saw this, I was like, I didn't recognize that was Marcus at first until
me either.
And you're like, I mean, I kind of put it together with a little soul patch or whatever here, but it didn't look just like him. But I mean, like, man, from the time E-Day happens to what we see in Gears of War 1, I mean, there's a big jump there. Like how much he had aged and just beaten up and everything from this whole thing. Like much younger Dom and Marcus. I was like, wow. It's crazy. I'm excited. Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'll play this will be one I'll play day one for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Here. I don't think that's not for this year. That's 25. This is 2025, right?
2025, yeah. Yeah. Most of these games are 25.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. 2025 is going to be crazy. Life is Strange Double Exposure. Super excited. They're bringing back Max Caulfield to do this whole thing, which I think is phenomenal. Definitely one of the greater games. The only thing I'm kind of concerned about is that all the stuff we heard about Deck 9 last year about, the toxic workplace culture and everything right after Life is Strange True Colors came out, all that stuff. I hope they've kind of fixed some of that stuff internally. But at the same time, the Life is Strange games have always been like stuff that pulled at the heartstrings, like in every way, shape, or form. Any thoughts on these?
I've never played, but I've heard that what you just said is what I've heard from everyone that's ever played and seen those games. So might be something I might want to check out. I don't know.
It's a nice cozy game with a lot of cool choices, especially the very first one where it has like kind of like the time traveling capabilities and stuff. Phenomenal game. Definitely recommend it.
Life is Strange is really near and dear to my heart. I love the entire franchise. And Deck 9, actually, probably unpopular opinion, but Deck 9 has made my favorite Life is Strange games. Like I love Before the Storm and True Colors more than the original game and more than Life is Strange 2. A lot of controversy surrounding this one for obvious reasons, but I'm still optimistic about it.
Yeah, I mean, True Colors was phenomenal too. I only got to play a little over half of it, but what you got was so different. I had, like being like a true empath and all that kind of stuff, and how the powers were very unique in each game was a nice breath of fresh air. 2 was the only one that was kind of confusing to me because they had that little prequel game that you got beforehand. It was like the demo for 2.
Yeah,
but that character was like a prequel to the story of the second one, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Moving on, Fragpunk. This is one I've got a little bit of thought about. It looks cool. Like you got a little bit. It's NetEase working with Microsoft, which for one is that's kind of red flag number 1 for me. The fact that NetEase is doing 2 separate Overwatch style shooters at once.
No.
Yeah, they're the ones also working for Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, I didn't realize this was like an Overwatch style game too. That's wow.
But it's doing like a card system kind of thing for it.
Yeah.
And to me, I think in terms of the Xbox Showcase, this is the only game that came off to me as like super, super mediocre at best. And I was just kind of like, like I get what you're trying to do, but all these weird, it doesn't have. To me, it didn't have, like the trailer did almost nothing for me. It looks cool stylishly and all that kind of stuff, but I think it feels too samey as like 5 other things that are out there, and it's not really doing anything really big or different to me. But the fact it was NetEase basically creating a game to compete with their own game, just in a different style, was kind of weird.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't know if you guys saw this one, kind of had any thoughts about it, but it was just kind of an oddball one to me.
Yeah, same here. I thought it just looked weird. Looked like there was almost too much going on sometimes in some like the gameplay that they were showing. Yeah, I don't know. Looked a little weird.
To be honest, I don't even remember this one, which probably speaks to the game. So
I think that was a lot of people. They just were like, no, I don't even know.
That's why I was shocked when you said like that they were like trying to compete with their own market, which was like, what?
Yeah, it's a 5v5 FPS, like doing kind of the same thing. Whereas Marvel Rivals is, as a third person, more kind of an Overwatch style of things. But at the same time, it's like, why are you all trying to create 2 different shooters in the same market, basically? Because it's a 5v5, 6v6 thing. Like, but why?
Yeah.
So this one I don't have any hopes for, to be honest, right off the bat. Unless they do something big or crazy different. Like the card system thing didn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. I'm just kind of Eidos Montreal confirmed it had been helping with development of Fable, which is good because Eidos Montreal is a fantastic studio. Age of Mythology Retold coming to PC and Xbox in September, which I thought was really cool. The other one kind of going back a little bit on the Black Ops 6, it also kind of confirmed after the showcase too, because everybody's kind of wondering what stuff is included in it. So I've kind of got it up here on the whole thing. So Game Pass Ultimate obviously gives you the best content of the bunch. Allows you to play Black Ops 6 campaign as well as multiplayer and zombies. Online modes, your Xbox Series S, X, Xbox One consoles, PC, and Game Pass Ultimate subscribers will have access to the digital cross-gen bundle, which is cool. Standard Game Pass on PC only gives you access to the campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. Console only gives you the campaign, which I thought was interesting. And then Game Pass Core only includes the multiplayer. So it's kind of a weird hodgepodge depending on the versions. Personally, I think there's too many damn versions of Game Pass. I think they should just kind of silo that down. I mean, I get it why they're doing it because it's like it's access in different ways, but at the same time, you should just do like Core and Ultimate and then just leave it at that. And then, all right, and of course, I guess it is kind of that. It's Core and Ultimate, and then you have the console and PC separately, which is like basically the core versions of the whole thing. But it should just be Core and Ultimate, and just stop making it confusing, for fuck's sake. And then of course they've got like the extra stuff in the Vault Edition for $30, which is that option I was talking about, where they could kind of upgrade their Game Pass version and get kind of the extra stuff. The Hunter versus Hunted Operator Pack, the Magecraft Weapon Collection, Gobble Gun Pack, and then this Season 1 Black Cell, which the only thing it's like, you know, I feel like Fortnite kind of started that whole trend with battle passes or whatever, and then everybody else turns it into seasons or battle passes. But for the love of God, stop with seasons. Oof. One Well, of course, we know the Black Ops 6 extended stuff, extended gameplay looks valid, and Metal Gear Solid Delta are coming this week. So we get a little sometime later this week. I think there was an add-on to that whole thing, but kind of going back on the Xbox Game Showcase. If you guys had to give a score out of 1 and 10, would do it. Corey, we'll start with you. What was your score on this one?
This is an easy 10 out of 10 for me. I feel like this was the best Xbox showcase ever in Xbox's entire history. They really came out strong with a lot of heavy hitters. And even the smaller games are just really intriguing and look awesome. So, yeah, I was really, I mean, not so a bit surprised. Xbox has really been killing it lately, but you know, just with all the negative stuff that's been happening with Microsoft and Xbox lately, it kind of just put a downer mood like going into the whole showcase for me. But like going out of it, man, this was just phenomenal. Loved it.
Yeah.
Connor, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny. Before the show, Tommy said, try to narrow it down to 3 games, 3 of your main games, your top games you really want to talk about here. And we all sat in Discord and we were like, we cannot narrow it down to just 3 games. I thought it was really good. I thought there were a lot in there that were really cool. Call of Duty being on Game Pass, I feel like that's just massive. Like I feel like that's a big deal. Yeah, it's good. I'd probably give it a 10. It's really good. Gears of War, like the Starfield DLC, I thought it was all really good. Doom, yeah, it's good. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, it is very close to a 10. It's a 9.5 out of 10, and it is hands down, I think, the best showcase that they've ever done. My only challenge is when they show something and don't give any kind of window is the only thing that's kind of weird to me. If they can hold on to those and then just release those when they want, you know, when they have something a little bit more, at least a window. It doesn't have to be a date every time, right? They'll release the date when they're ready. And I actually appreciate Microsoft doing that with the developers now. They're kind of letting them have a little bit more time to cook and make sure that it's actually good coming out, which is fantastic, with the exception of obviously Arcane Austin, which we're not going to talk about too much here, but not finishing Redfall, which is unfortunate. But that I think it was overall a fantastic showcase. I mean, they definitely hit it out of the park. Their pacing was great. Everything that they showed was phenomenal. I had a lot of fun to see everything. And it just had like substance of everything. Like I feel like it definitely almost killed like Summer Games Fest, like showcase in terms of how they like presented everything, the way they did it. And I think that's something that, you know, Jeff and the crew could definitely take note of on how they did that. But it also proves of like how much Xbox doesn't need them either. Like it doesn't need SGF to do anything with.
Right.
Which is like that interesting part. Like I said, it's like, it's one of those things. I'm curious to see how Jeff and the team is going to handle this going forward. Like if all these companies do their own, like PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox and Microsoft do their own showcases, who else is going to do their showcases? Like EA is kind of attached to Microsoft now for the most part. Like most of EA's big announcements are all coming through Microsoft stuff. PlayStation gets their first party stuff and across some third party stuff. Nintendo, of course, always does their own stuff. Ubisoft did their own, but I don't think they needed to do their own, to be honest, with some of their stuff. I think it could have strengthened some of the other showcases, but yeah, I think for me, like Xbox was definitely the winner out of the showcase front.
For sure.
Kind of like the spoiler part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Kind of going on. Some of the other showcases we got, we're going to go into the Ubisoft Forward. Corey, I'll let you kick this one off. What was your initial thoughts on the showcase itself? Starting, we got the Star Wars Outlaws gameplay reveal.
I want to preface my thoughts by saying I am a contracted worker with Ubisoft. I don't work directly for Ubisoft, but I've done stuff behind the scenes with Ubisoft for this showcase and also previous showcases in the past. So if you need to take anything I say with a grain of salt, you know, feel free to do so. Is this like thoughts about Star Wars Outlaws?
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws. Like kicking it off, that was kind of like their big first kind of like pop of the show. They kicked it off with that.
I thought it looked really, really impressive. I saw a lot of comments online with people saying that like this showing of Star Wars Outlaws is a lot like what people wanted from Starfield, which I would agree with.
Yeah.
Just seeing like the space combat and going from space into like the planets was just really cool. And the faction system was really intriguing. And I thought overall it looked really, really good.
Connor, what were your thoughts on Outlaws?
Yeah, I thought it looked cool. I mean, I couldn't help but think of Starfield when they show her get into the ship. No
Yeah,
cutscenes. They just get in and take off.
seamless, yeah.
It looked pretty good. I thought it looked pretty good. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know how much I want a Star Wars game that doesn't have lightsabers. I don't know if there were any lightsabers maybe that I missed, but it looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty cool. So kind of excited. The trailer definitely got me a little bit more excited for it.
I'm excited because it's Star Wars. I mean, I love Star Wars as a franchise. At the same time, I'm also a really big fan of Jedi and stuff like that. So I'm kind of with you on this one. I'm like, I really want a good Star Wars game. Like the Respawn Star Wars games, Jedi Survivor and what was the other one? I can't remember the name.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order and Survivor. Like both were phenomenal games in terms of all that. But at the same time, I'm like, can somebody get a license and redo Jedi Academy for the love of God? Jedi Academy was so good. Yeah. But at the same time, I know that's not canon. That era is not canon anymore, which is why they've kind of nixed that whole idea. But at least a version of it, like in High Republic or something, oh my God, would be great. But overall, going back to Star Wars Outlaws, I think it looks like it's going to be a good time. I'll definitely pick it up as part of everything, and it comes with a 10-hour trial with Game Pass and everything too, which I think is going to be great. Or actually, no, this is Ubisoft. This is I was thinking
Ubisoft Plus, right?
Yeah.
So you need Ubisoft Plus, so you need to be able to play that. Also, I guess that's another one that's kind of weird. Like Ubisoft Plus is pricey compared to some of the other ones.
Pricey
for what it is. I think their pricing before, when it was like $10 or less for the whole thing, I think was a better draw on the price. But now it's like, I think it's like $15.99, right, for their version of Ultimate, which is up there. Definitely not the best value in gaming.
Yeah,
but it's definitely good. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake coming in 2026, which a lot later than I expected, but I think this one we've kind of heard on and off about it being like it having a turbulent development time, and I think they might have restarted development with a different studio at some point, or at least that was the rumors about it. We didn't really see any footage of it, but we got a little bit of a candle. Prince of Persia, I'm always been excited about. Sands of Time was hands down is my favorite Prince of Persia game, for sure.
I specifically remember playing this, but I know I didn't finish it. I don't remember when this came out. I was pretty young when I played this one, but I remember being stuck in an area where I think you had to wall run or something, and I got frustrated and I quit. Having a remake is going to be pretty cool. Maybe I'll give it another try. Maybe I'll finish what I quit however many years ago. It looks pretty cool.
Okay.
I've been loving this whole Prince of Persia resurgence that Ubisoft has been doing lately, from Lost Crown to the Rogue Prince of Persia to now this remake. Really exciting, and it's just been so cool to see, like, because they've been so focused on Assassin's Creed for so many years, like now to finally go back to Prince of Persia, it just feels really rewarding, really cool.
Oh, 100%. That kind of stepping on something you said, with Prince of Persia, the Rogue Prince of Persia, and then the Lost Crown, those releasing so close together with two very, very different art styles, but very similar type of game, I thought was a very interesting choice to do those kind of back to back.
I agree with you.
Like one feels like, the actual Prince of Persia, the other one feels a little bit like a knockoff. So that was just kind of interesting. Assassin's Creed Shadows. We got a little bit of a deep dive on this one, I think being almost everything anybody has ever asked for an Assassin's Creed. Like, what if they ever did an Assassin's Creed in Japan? The same thing we said years ago. What if they did a Vikings one and all this other stuff? My God, I think they definitely knocked it out of the park with this one. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think it looks really, really cool. I haven't been into Assassin's Creed for quite a while. I did not play the last few. Yeah, this one looks pretty cool. There's kind of like a dual narrative kind of going on where you're going to swap between the characters. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe. It looks pretty cool. Yeah.
And Stuart, thanks so much for
I have played a lot of the previous Assassin's Creed, but I haven't really been into I haven't been into Assassin's Creed for many years now.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one, it just looks like everything I could want from an Assassin's Creed game. I man, I know I'm probably saying this too many times, but I can't wait for this one. And this was coming out in November, which is really exciting
so
too.
excited. I'm excited about this one. This is going to be a lot of fun. I think this is going to be probably one of the ones I actually dive back into. Valhalla, I really liked. I really loved the Viking era, but the game itself was just so big and so much bloated to do that I just couldn't get into it as much. I think, God, what was the name of the Spartan style one? That was Odyssey was probably my last like big true love. Like that thing was a lot of fun, and it didn't feel bloated until you got to the later game when everything actually finally opened up more, and then you kind of got a better scope of it. And I think they did a much better job in that one, in terms of kind of slowly getting you into the open world stuff. So it didn't just, throw like icon spew everywhere basically, so you didn't have to feel like you did everything. They did a much better job in that one, and I hope this one kind of reins that back a little bit, and then lets you comes back to something that's a little bit more manageable, because when you get so much to do, which has kind of been an all Ubisoft game open world problem lately, that they make all these big open world games, which is great, but they throw so much shit on screen that you get like task paralysis essentially with it, and it makes you not want to play it. So I think that's been my biggest challenge with a lot of the Assassin's Creeds. It's just gotten so big and so bloated, and there's no real focus on how you could get into the story, because it gave you so many other things to do that you try to do everything, but you don't know what the hell is even going on at points of it, basically.
Right.
So
yeah, that was my big problem with Valhalla. I feel like it was just so bloated, so huge, where Odyssey was a bit more reined in, and this game is from the Odyssey devs, so that gives me a bit more hope. And I know like Assassin's Creed can never go back to the way it was. It never should go back to the way it was. But I do hope they kind of rein back in on like a lot of that bloat and that kind of task-based open worldness stuff. So,
absolutely, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Origin of the Peak in the past 5 to 7 years, Shadows looks to be close. Yeah, I mean, I didn't play Origins. That was actually one I skipped because I didn't really care about the Egyptian style to it. Odyssey was probably my last big favorite, aside of 1 and 2, which were phenomenal, games by itself. Moving on, Anno 117 Pax Romano revealed, kind of like a throwback to the Anno series, which I think it's really weird how Anno really went to this like modern to almost, and then it kind of dipped a little bit into the future stuff, and now they've just kind of been rolling back in time as each one has come about, because it's like Anno 1800 or whatever it was, the last one, which was like steampunk era to kind of some degree, and then you have 117, which kind of goes back even further. I feel like ancient Roman Empire. Any thoughts on this one?
That was a new one to me. I had never heard of that. It looked kind of cool though. Yeah.
It's like a fun city builder. Yeah.
I'd never heard of it before. It looks cool.
Yeah, I know Anno's a very popular series, but this is just one that's just escaped my radar for so long now. So, excited for the fans of Anno, but this personally does nothing for me.
Yeah, same. That's kind of where I'm at. It's another one that's, I like the Anno series, but it doesn't make me want to jump into it. And I love the Roman era of stuff, like the Roman Empire era of everything, but it just it doesn't want to pull me into it for any way, shape, or form. Moving on, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown DLC gets revealed, which looks fantastic in my opinion. Talking about going back on the Prince of Persia stuff, a lot of cool different things to it. Any thoughts on this? Mask of Darkness is the name of the new DLC.
The Lost Crown was incredible. I love that game so much. So I'm looking for any excuse to jump back into it. So I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, like I said, I hadn't played a Prince of Persia game since I was very, very young. But yeah, I mean, the trailer looked pretty cool. Yeah.
Fun stuff. Prince of Persia worth playing? Yes. If you play the original, like Sands of Time, I think is definitely going to be the one that's going to be to play. I hope they do it justice by doing it. And then I agree also with Stuart's comment. Anno is Civ, but confusing. There is parts of it that are great and it works really well. And there's other parts that you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Play Lost Crown. Lost Crown, honestly, one of the best Metroidvanias to come out in like the past few years.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Highly recommend it.
It was a lot of fun. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora gets the Skybreaker DLC coming out next month, which I am shocked they continue to support this game, to be honest, because I didn't think anybody was playing it.
That was pretty surprising to me too. Yeah.
I thought it was a one and done. Like they came out with it. All right, guys, here you go.
Same.
Thanks. We'll see you on the next one. But clearly there was something there to that. Jake Gyllenhaal skin. Nah. Well, Jake Gyllenhaal was definitely a ripoff for that one. That's just.
Oh my God, Prince of Persia.
The next one is kind of one of that shocked me. I'm gonna try to wrap some of these up because we're running out of time. But X Defiant Season 1. This is kind of one of the most interesting things to me. They've made this big effort to make X Defiant a thing, and they're definitely really supporting it more. Feels a little bit stiff in terms of this FPS shooter space, but it seems like this was like the smallest announcement at the whole showing for whatever reason. And it feels weird, especially for the game that just came out, and you're not trying to like, gloat this one out more because it's just like the brand new thing that they're trying to support and do. But this update coming out July 2nd for Season 1 felt just lackluster. Any thoughts on this, guys?
Yeah, this was really confusing to me because it really seemed like, of course, their big games this year are Outlaws and Assassin's Creed, but like you have this huge heavy hitter in the free-to-play space with X Defiant, and right now is the perfect time to capitalize on that. And it was like what a 3-4 minute, like not even a deep dive, just trailer.
It was kind of like an afterthought. Yeah, it felt like an afterthought.
Yeah, that's really weird. I expected a bigger showcase for X Defiant, but it felt like an afterthought, as you said.
I think the trailer itself was fine. I think they're adding the Rainbow Six faction, and they're adding maps from Rainbow Six Siege, which is cool. I've been kind of getting into Rainbow Six Siege, so it's kind of cool to see that going into that. But yeah, it looked all right. It did kind of feel like a little side thing that they just kind of, but it looked pretty cool.
Yeah. It's one. It was super shocking to me. I thought, I was like, man, with your new flagship shooter next to some of your other stuff that's gotten a lot of attention since its launch, and especially being free to play. I mean, like it's a hard thing to do to get people interested enough to do that or want to play a free to play game like that. But the progression's a little bit slow on certain things, but they've done enough of these bonus XP weekends to make you feel like you're getting something out of it to kind of do that. But at the same time, it feeling like an afterthought feels like a drop ball to me. On Ubisoft's end, like they could have came out with a bang, like, hey, here's our brand new game, let's do this whole thing, like, man, let's just kind of get this thing hyped. My God, like, here's all the cool stuff we're getting. We get the Rainbow Siege. Like, they just didn't. They kind of like, here's a thing, cool, thanks guys.
Yeah. I was expecting all of that, and it was just, it felt very really weird.
Yeah,
I agree. Skull and Bones, another one. I'm seriously like shocked that they're continuing to update it, because it kind of it came out. Some people talked about it, but it wasn't anything that made a huge splash other than holy shit, that game took forever to come out. And it just, it plays well. But I'm excited to see that they're actually still supporting it, which is great. But at the same time, I'm still kind of shocked at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always good to see games continue to get supported like that. But yeah, I don't know anyone that played this. I didn't really have it on my radar to play. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see it being supported, I guess.
Yeah. As I said, for Anno, happy for those fans, but this does nothing for me.
Yeah.
If there are fans.
And then kind of going on some of the other stuff that came out, Crew Motorfest got a year 2 roundup revealed. Kind of some weird stuff that came out for that. The Crew was another one. Crew Motorfest was one that like it kind of came out, and I didn't really hear much when it came out, and I haven't really heard much since. And then they did it here at the Ubisoft Forward, but it was kind of one that just kind of fell under the radar for the most part. I didn't feel like they really gave it much attention overall.
Yeah.
And then they have, of course,
this whole middle section of announcements was just really weird.
Yeah, and then it's weird because the article itself that we have, like, they gave updates for a lot of the other things that were in the showcase too, but it weren't really in there. But like Division got another update, and a few of these other games that they're long, continuing running games are still got updates.
I think that was like a pre-show thing too with the Division, which was really weird.
And then Heartland getting canceled was also another weird one to me, but at the same time I kind of understand it to some degree too, because I got on the last 2 closed betas for it, and it just felt like it didn't have a direction. It felt like it wanted to do a lot of things, but nothing at all too at the same time, if that made sense. Which kind of breaks my heart because I was really hoping for something new and away from the cityscape of, Division 1 and 2 to do something a little bit different, but it kind of dropped the ball on that one, I felt like. Wrapping up Ubisoft Forward before we get into the last little bit. What do you guys rate the Ubisoft Forward? Connor, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
There wasn't too much that jumped out at me. I mean, the Star Wars Outlaws got me a little bit more excited, but that was pretty much it. The X-Defiant trailer was fine. The Assassin's Creed was fine. Prince of Persia is cool to see it getting its remake. I don't know. Overall, kind of underwhelming, I guess. Maybe I'd probably give it like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
Maybe even a 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm hovering around 5 and 6 myself, probably a bit closer to 6. I thought overall it was just okay. I feel like they came out the gate really strong with Star Wars Outlaws. They closed the show out really strong with Assassin's Creed Shadows, but that middle part was just really lackluster. Outside of like the Prince of Persia blowout, like everything was just kind of really quick, rapid pace, and I just felt like kind of meaningless updates to a lot of games.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. I definitely think this is maybe a 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 at most. I mean, the stuff that we got in the beginning and end, like Outlaws and Shadows and the Prince of Persia stuff, everything else kind of felt like it was just, they were obligatory doing it to some degree, like the way they kind of treated it, especially with some of the other content updates stuff too, which it's great that we got content updates for some of those things. But at the same time, it's like, did y'all need to do it like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course,
it just felt like, but it just felt like they had like they had to do these updates for these games. Like, oh, we have
exactly
the crew. Oh, we have, this and that. So it felt really weird. Yeah.
I thought that was my biggest complaint. Everything is like, it was kind of like I said, the obligatory thing, and it just kind of throw it in there to throw it in there. But after that, it was kind of like, it's there. Thanks, guys. It's there. I'm not going to we're not going to have enough time, I think, to go into the PC Gamer Show, but there was quite a bit of great indies out of there. Any big highlights that you guys want to talk about on the PC Gaming Show? Just off the top of your head.
There were a couple, Phantom Line looked really weird. It was like an FPS kind of like post-apocalyptic alien hunting type situation. I'm not exactly sure what the premise was there, but they kind of teleported to an alternate thing and it looked kind of scary. I don't know. That one looked really cool. What else was there? There was
that was probably my that and Killing Floor were my two top of the show.
Yeah. Killing Floor looked cool too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Corey, what about you?
I would say Streets of Rogue 2 looks really interesting to me. I never played the first game, but it was always one of those that was like always on my radar. I love roguelike games, and the fact that this one is like an open world roguelite sounds really crazy. And there's like crafting and building and stuff that you can do, which is really awesome. Of course, Killing Floor 3 was really cool to see. There was another showcase for No More Room in Hell 2 as well here.
I was just gonna say, there was another showing of that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Battle Aces as well. And that was shown off, I want to say, at SGF. I'm really not into RTS games, but like I feel like this is the game like for people like me who aren't into RTS games, to try to get them into RTS games. And everything I've seen from it, from like the deep dives and everything, looks really, really interesting. So I'm looking forward to giving this a try.
Yeah. For me, I definitely agree with you guys on some of them. Killing Floor 3, Phantom Line look fantastic. The other one I've kind of got my eye on too is the Level 0 Extraction. Looked a lot of fun. That's also in the SGF preview or demos you can play right now. And I played an early demo of that, and I just replayed it again for Summer Games Fest stuff. A lot of fun, especially on the creature side of things, and they've kind of enhanced a lot of the issues, or fixed a lot of the issues that I've had, and they've enhanced it quite a bit. I definitely agree with Battle Aces being like a fun little side one. For anybody that's also here in the chat, I also put the link in there for y'all to follow into that one. But there's a lot of great indies that were also kind of showed up in here. Of course, No More Room in Hell 2 popped up again. Strident also looked interesting. Another one I'm really shocked that they keep making more of is the Drug Dealer Sim 2. Like, that's just kind of funny. They just keep throwing in stuff
popular.
like that. I know.
People love that.
People love that one. Then you just get a lot of like, a little bit more of the indie showcases and stuff. A lot of indie stuff shown at this showcase as well, which I'm so happy that at least somebody's doing it.
Yeah.
Starbirds also looked interesting for kind of like a little resource management thing, which was kind of like a little automated thing that was fun. But yeah, Streets of Rogue 2, like, definitely was another standout one because I love the first one. I played the bejesus side of the first one. Got like super addicted to that one for a couple weeks and kind of played through the whole thing. It was great. Steel Seed was another one that actually caught my eye a lot too, which was the sci-fi platformer kind of style of game, which was great. Citizen Sleeper, yeah, that's another one. I was 2 in this one. Did I miss it for some reason? Was Citizen Sleeper 2 in this one? Oh yeah, it was in here. I just passed by it.
There's a lot of games.
There's a lot of games in this one. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out, definitely do so. So one of the things I asked everybody to kind of go through, what was like your top 3 games of the showcases? And I think some of them we've kind of dabbled about here. But Corey, I'm going to put you on the spot for the first one. What was your like big 3 announcements for this week that you really enjoyed?
Overall?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I think all of mine came from the Xbox showcase for the most part.
Yeah. Man.
That doesn't have
in
to
no
be
particular order. Yeah. I'm going to go with, of course, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. I'm a huge Diablo fan. We've already talked your ears off about that already, so I won't really dive into more details about that, but I'm really excited for that expansion to come out. And then I'm going to go with Assassin's Creed Shadows, because this is like my dream Assassin's Creed game. I'm sure it is for a lot of people. And then I'm gonna sound boring, but I have to go with Gears E-Day. I love Gears of War, huge Gears fan, and to go back to the OG crew, Marcus and Dom. I can't wait for that. So that'll be my top 3 off of the top of my head right there.
Connor, what about you?
I would probably put Gears in there with me as well. Like, Gears looks awesome, man. I mean, what more can be said? Gears, I'd say I'm gonna have to put the Starfield DLC in there. I'm just really excited for that. I'm excited to see that game like just getting some support. I enjoyed it a lot.
Anything else big that really like stood out?
Doom looks awesome. Killer Bean looks awesome. Doom looks really, really cool. Like I said, I played Doom Eternal for the first time, and it like the combat and the gameplay just like actually blew me away. So I'm really excited for another Doom game.
Same.
Yeah, that's probably it. What about you?
Right. For me, the Starfield DLC was probably my highlight. I really love the whole thing because I can't get enough Starfield. Like, I've been playing a lot of it too, on and off.
Yeah.
Diablo 4, like the Vessel of Hatred, definitely won it. Gears of War E-Day. God, there's just so many. This was a hard one because there was actually a lot of really good announcements finally, and a lot of stuff to actually look for the second half of the year. Because going into this week, we didn't get anything in terms of like big news, really big news aside of maybe a little bit of the PlayStation stuff. The other thing I just want to kind of highly note is that everything that happened at SGF, nobody was talking about the PlayStation thing somehow or another because it happened just a week prior, which I thought was interesting, or 2 weeks prior. So I thought that was kind of interesting that whole showcase was just kind of forgotten about essentially in terms of all the announcements for the summer stuff. But it was kind of like, oh, hey, PlayStation did this thing, and everybody's like, let me one up that somehow. But that was kind of it's an interesting thing to think about for this year, because I think this is going to be the first time in a while that PlayStation hasn't really had a grip on the market in terms of big games releases or tentpole game releases. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing, if anything, in terms of like the quote unquote console wars. I don't believe in that stuff or anything. Everybody plays whatever they want to play on whatever system they want to play it, right? But how if any of those markets trends shift a bit because of how slow 2024 is for PlayStation as a whole.
Yes. What do they have? This is just what Astrobot and God of War PC. Is that like it?
I think that's it. Yeah, there's no new IP coming out this year, so it's
crazy.
And Helldivers, I think, was the other last one, and then we all know the story of them screwing the pooch with Helldivers pretty bad, which I'm still kind of upset about because they released it to all these people. They've been playing it for months, and all of a sudden, hey, we're gonna come up with this new update to force you to do this PSN thing. Yeah, and it's just a whole thing. But it was unfortunate in my opinion. But I think that wraps it up. Overall, I think this summer showing was nobody buying an Xbox in 2024. No, but and you don't really need to. I think that's the thing, is that Microsoft is doing such a weird, like a cool strategy, in my opinion, like getting away from needing the console. I think you could play it on PC. You could do it on that. There's even still some games coming out, like Doom, for example, is coming out on PlayStation 2 day and date. They're not really holding some of that stuff back, which I don't think you need to buy an Xbox. I think that's part of the point. They're just releasing games in their ecosystem to be able to do, including like, the console or the cloud gaming, which is another phenomenal choice for them. Of course, all of the handhelds supporting all of PC stuff is great. I don't think they need the console overall. It helps and it's another way to play, but I don't think it's their prime way to play everything that they release.
Yeah.
But any final words, guys, before we wrap everything up? Corey, let's go ahead and start with you. Where can they find you? What are you doing these days? What can you do after the show here? Like, we're going to do if they want to follow you after the show.
You could find me at Captain Tutu, either Captain Tutu or the Captain Tutu on all socials here on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and lately I've just been like working like crazy and recovering from the crazy school semester I just had. But I'm moving soon. I'm moving in 2 weeks to Long Beach, and once I move, I'm going to use that as an excuse to stream more and to do more content. So in about 2 to 3 weeks, you'll be seeing a lot more of me.
Nice. Can't wait. Connor, what about you? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me at It's Mr. Hot Dog on pretty much not all socials. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, stuff like that. I stream just about every other day or so. I'm really into Elden Ring. I'm going to be all over the Elden Ring DLC when it comes out. Just chilling, working a lot and gaming a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
And myself, you guys would always find me here. I'm usually kind of in this back side of the scenes of everything on INN. Hope you all enjoy the content here. Definitely stay tuned. We got another fun week of content coming up. We've got Don Reyes play of Baldur's Gate 3, continuing on playing with like the random playthrough of a different stitch or thing that she's doing with the game. We've got our variety streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we have also got our flagship talk shows, Push to Talk and the Meta Show with Dave Archer and crew. But hope you all enjoyed the content today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Corey, Connor, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to do some more content with you guys, hopefully here soon in the future. And otherwise,
absolutely.
We'll see you all next time. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.